Cool. Hi everyone. Hope you're all well. My name is Asad Ahmad and I'm from Manchester. I've been doing development for the best part of 13 years now. I'm actually a software consultant at this moment. I own my own company. I have managed to have my own company for the best part of nearly 4.5 years now. Hi everyone. So before you start your website creation, what I would definitely suggest you do is create something what we call as a sitemap. So what is a sitemap? A sitemap is basically the journey or the number of pages you are going to create for your website and what each website page will have on it. So for example, this page might be my home page. And from my home page, I might want to create a page that is called About Me. And this page might then describe myself in some form of a profile where I might describe what I have studied, what my hobbies are, etc. And I also may want to put a picture about myself on my own picture basically on there. You may also want to have a page to contact for them to want to contact you, which might even be your email address, or it might even be your address or your business address. Obviously, do not put any personal details on a website. This is only for learning. But you might want to create also maybe a portfolio, which contains drawings or paintings or photos that you might have created or taken when you were out and about. And also maybe another website page. But the main thing about a sitemap is you have to create a page, which is your home page, which here is my page. And on this page, you will have multiple hyperlinks, which take you to other pages. So whatever project you are assigned to work on, please ensure you create a sitemap for each page that you would like to go onto, and think about what each page will have inside the page, what text you might want to put on the page, what images you might want to put on the page, how many headings you might want to have on the page, basically things like that. Because what that will do, it will help you to then make the website when you come to create the website later on. So best of luck and have fun. Hello. So once you've been given your username and password to log into repo.it, you should be able to see a screen that looks similar to mine. So I have logged in with my username, which is ASTB01, which is my username. And this is basically going to be the area in which you are going to develop your website. So to create your website, you need to click on the top right corner where it says the plus symbol and new repo. You should get a list of languages to choose from. So there are, in the world of programming and software, there are a lot of languages that allow you to create different applications for any different industry or background. So for example, you can use Python to do quite a lot of simple scripting work, or JavaScript to do a lot of front-end development work, which is quite a fun piece of work to get involved in. But for our demonstration, I would like you to select HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So once you select that, you should get a field here where to type some name. That name can be the name that represents your website. So for my sake, I'm going to call this one Create It, Make It. And once you click on Create REPL, the editor will give you 3 columns. Now the first column contains all the files for your website. The middle one, which is this one here, contains the actual editor for you to be able to change the contents of a file. And then the right side is basically the preview of the website itself. So you can see on the top right here that the website name I gave, Create It, Make It, is just after the /, and then your username is there. Now that is going to be the area in which you can visualize what you are making. Now to start you off, we are going to create a single HTML page, and I will demonstrate different aspects of the HTML page that you can use. So every HTML has this structure. Now every HTML file should start with this line, which is basically to tell the web browser that you are looking to create a HTML page. Now HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now what does that mean by markup language? It basically means these are what we refer to as tags, HTML tags. So you can see this one here is a HTML tag, this one is a head tag, this one is a link tag, and this one is a body tag. Now every tag in HTML has a supporting end tag. Now the end tag starts with a forward slash and then the name of the tag. The script here is basically a external file which allows you to put other functionality in, which we won't need to worry about too much. Now anything you do to be able to see on a website, you need to put inside the body tag. The body tag is where you can type any text. For example, if I just put hello world and click on this run button, hello world will now appear on the right side in my preview window. That's great. Now, what if I wanted to create a heading, for example? Now, to create a heading is very easy. All you need to do is put the less than symbol, H1, which basically means header 1, and then the greater than symbol. That is the opening HTML tag for a heading. So I will put here heading 1. If I do a less than symbol again, can you see in this pop-up that you get the closing one? So if you click on that, it will finish the tag for you. So you can basically see a start and an end tag for a heading. As soon as you press run, you can see that the heading appears like a heading. That's quite easy. If I was to make another heading but make it a smaller heading, you can use H2. So I can say heading 2 and finish it off in a similar manner, like so. You get the idea? Now basically you can go up to heading 6, which is very, very small. Now that is down to yourselves how you design your website. What if I wanted to create a paragraph? Now a paragraph is basically, as you are aware, can be made up of a single sentence or several sentences. If I wanted to create a paragraph, I have to use the P tag. So in here I can say this is a sentence to represent a paragraph, like so. So if I press run, it will appear just like any old sentence. Now if I was to copy this line and paste it a few times and run it, you can see that all of the lines appear as if they are individual sections, which is how a paragraph will appear. If I was to put some more text on the first one by saying there is more text to add and press the run button, you can see that all it just does, it adds it to the same paragraph. Pretty straightforward. Now a nice feature to remember is this little symbol here, which basically allows you to auto format a HTML page. Now what do we mean by auto format? Auto format basically allows you to style the page to make it look neater, so that it looks easy for you to find a start tag and an end tag. So if I run this again, you can see nothing has changed. That's fine. So I have shown you so far how to create a heading, a paragraph. What if I wanted to put some text in bold, like emphasized it? So I'm going to say this text should be in bold. So if I was to run this, you can see the last line is not in bold. Well, to do text in bold, you put a B symbol, a B tag, and then a closing B tag. And you can now see that the text, once you do run it, but my browser is a bit slow, there we go, you can see the text has gone into bold, which is great. Now, let's try to play around with some of this. So that is how you can create a simple set of tags to represent a paragraph, a heading, and some text in bold. If I wanted to make something italic, so this is basically where your text is like slanted. So I'm going to say this text is in italic. So if I was to run this example, you can see the text is not italic. It is basically just looks like the normal text. Now to make it italic, I just need to use the I symbol. And you can see now the text has some slant to it, which is italic. Now, one thing to also change is the title. So the title is basically the title that will be given to your website page. So for example, I'm going to call this home. So if I run this example, nothing will change, and we'll come to that in a second in terms of what that home represents. For now, all you need to worry about is the content in between the body tag. If at any point you find that you have an issue, the best thing to do is to remove the line where you think you might have the issue and then rerun the page to make sure it loads like this. Now, so far I have shown you how to create a simple HTML page with some text on. Now, to create an image, for example, I can use the image tag. Now, inside the image tag, there is something that we refer to as the attribute called source, which is basically src. Now, what this basically means is where am I getting the image from to be able to show it on the website. Now, if I was to go to a website, for example, and I typed in mountain on Google, and I look for an image, I can see this image here, and I can try to save this image onto my desktop. So I'm going to put this onto my desktop, if I can find my desktop. In fact, I'll just leave it there in my downloads directory. If I go back to my REPL, if you can see, I'm still on the screen where I am before. If I click on the three dots here, can you see that there is a upload file? So if you click on upload file, I'm going to rename this image to call this mountain to make it easier for me to use. And then I'm going to open this image and it will end up appearing in my folder, which is quite easy to use. So if I just type in here mountain.jpg, I'm hoping it will render the image, and lo, there you go, you have an image. That's quite good. So you can also define the height and the width of the image. So if I can say the width is 20 and the height is 20, you can see the image has become very, very small. Now 20 basically refers to the number of pixels. So the pixels are basically the amount of space you are looking from here in the top left corner to the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Every part of this screen is made up of a pixel. So if I say 200 pixels by 200 pixels, because it'll be a square, it will basically give me an image that looks quite squarey. And if I change the width to 400, you can see that the image now becomes a bit more, looks a bit better. Now that's how you add an image into your web page. Cool. Now, moving on, what if I wanted to add some color to my website? Now, if I wanted to, for example, change every paragraph which is the P tag, to have a different color, that is pretty straightforward to do. So what you need to do is, if you click on the style.css file, in here, if you type the letter P, basically the P represents the paragraph. Now if you put curly braces, which is basically they're not the normal round brackets, they are the curly braces. You should have a starting curly brace and an end curly brace. If you press enter in between the two curly braces, you'll find that the cursor is waiting for you to type something here. Now if I was to say I want to make all of my paragraphs red, you type the word color, which is spelled C-O-L-O-R, not the English spelling. This is the American spelling. If you type colon, you can see there is a list of colors that appear. So if I was to go into here and select red, and then put a semicolon. So the thing to remember here is to put a semicolon in between the curly braces for every line you add. So if you put another line inside here, you have to still put a semicolon on the end of every line. So imagine this as the full stop to a sentence. So if I was to save that, which it's already saved, and rerun my example, you can see that every line that was a paragraph has gone red. Now how has that worked? So if you go back to the index.html, you can see there is a line 8 which basically says, I would like to use this style sheet, which is what this is, a style sheet which allows you to style the website. And this is the file called style.css, which will allow you to style my website the way I would like you to style it. So what you are doing in this file is telling it what color and size of the font you would like to use. Now if I was to say that I would like to change the color of the paragraphs back to normal, so I can say this should now be black. Every paragraph is now black, which is fine. How about if I wanted to change this one, the second paragraph, into a different color, so red for example. If I go to my second paragraph, I can give this an ID and say second paragraph. This paragraph here, which is the second one, now has an ID attribute which is called second para. So if I go back to my CSS file, I can say the hash symbol, and I can say second para curly braces. So if you look at this hash symbol, the hash symbol represents an ID, which is what you need to remember. So if I say here now the color is red, what do you think will happen? There you go. The second has become red, whereas the first and the third paragraph have remained black. Now if I was to go back into here again and remove this ID, just for example's sake, and I said any paragraph that has this particular word, which I'm about to say, should have the same color. So the way we do that in HTML and CSS is to use the word class. Now if you think of the class like as if you were in an English classroom or a French classroom or a science classroom, everybody in that classroom has the same thing in common, and that is the class in which they are in. So if I was to say this class is called para, and then give the same class to the other paragraph tags, so remember to put the tag, the class and the ID inside the first tag. You can go to this file. If you put a dot symbol and type the word para, now what does the dot represent? The dot represents a class. Now if I was to say in here now that the color blue will be used, you can see now every single paragraph has now turned blue. Why? Should it not be black? Well, not really. Should it not be red? Well, not really, because we haven't used an ID. Why is it gone blue? It's because we have used this class on every paragraph. So if I was to just remove these and leave one in there for an example, you can remove them and you can see that it will only affect the one line. Cool. So that is how you can initially style your website. Let's try and add what should we add now? I've added a heading, a paragraph, we've added some text, we've added an image. Now the key thing to remember with an image is to make sure you add the image in this folder so that you can use the image. And to use the image, always remember to put the / before the image name and then give it a size that is however you want to size it. So for now, that is one simple page that allows you to do a lot of things in there, which is pretty straightforward to create. Now what if I wanted to create another page that links to this page? So if I go into this file and say add file, I can say here, I'm going to say the About Us page, and I'm going to give it an extension of HTML. This should now create a brand new file called About Us HTML. If you run this example, it's still using your initial page, which is fine. However, what we want to do is use this page as well, which is the About Us page. Now to make this a HTML page, what I would recommend you do is copy the content of the index HTML page and paste it into the new page. Remember to change the title, so I'm going to change the title for this one to be About Us. And the best thing to do is to empty the body tag. Leave the script in there, even though we won't use it, but it's good to leave it in there for now. This page will be called the About Us page, so I'm just going to give this page a heading. I'm going to say About Us, and then a paragraph to say welcome to the About Us page. Nice and simple. If I run this now, I do not see that page whatsoever. Okay, so why do I not see that page? So by going to this index HTML page, I'm now going to remove everything in this page, and I'm going to create a link to that other page called About Us. Now, how do we create a link? Well, that's quite easy. So if you just put a less than symbol and then type the letter A, the A is basically it means the anchor tag. So in here, all you need to use is something called the href, which is the reference to the page that you're looking for. So if you put a / you can type About Us HTML. If you put a greater than symbol, in between after the greater than symbol, if you put the word About Us and then close the tag, if you run this example, you will see there is a link that appears, and that link will take you to the About Us page. But to be sure that we are not going to make a mistake, what I would like to do is copy this link, go to the index, go to the About Us page, and at the bottom of the paragraph where I have added welcome to About Us, you paste this link here and change this back to index HTML, and you can change this text to say back to home. Let this save it, which it is saving. It's just going to take a few seconds to save. There we go. If I go back to my index.html page and run this, you can see this says about us, and to prove that we are on the home page, I'm going to say home as my heading, and then another paragraph to say welcome to the home page for Create It, Make It. So if I run this example again, there we go. If I click on this link, About Us, it will take us to the About Us page. And if you click on the Back to Home page, we go back to the home page. There we go. We have got a very simple link. A link that takes us to the home page, and also a link that takes us to another page called the About Us page. So hopefully that makes sense. Always remember to put a link in the home page to a page that you would like to create. So let's just do that again. Let's say, for example, I wanted to create a contact page. I could click on the new file and type the word contact and type HTML. I will copy the content of any HTML file I already have. I can go back to my contact page and paste the content. Always remember to change the title. And then I will change the heading to say contact. And I will say welcome to the contact page. Now, the reason why I copied the About Us page is so that I can leave this link here, which makes life a lot easier. Now, if I go back to the home page, which is called the index.html, you will see, if I run this example, I don't have a link to the contact page. Okay, so let's add it. Can you remember how to add it? Pretty straightforward. All you need to do is change the word here to represent the name of the file, which is contact, which means this one. Always remember to put the full name and the extension, but always make sure you start it with this /. If you forget to put the /, it will still work, but it's good practice to put this /, because the / basically means from this point. So basically this is your parent structure. So if I was to change the word here to say contact, run this example, you can see there are now two links, 1 and 2. Cool. Now, if I click on contact page, you can see welcome to the contact page. If I say back to home, you go back to the home. If I go to the About Us, you go About Us page. If you click on the back to home, you end up at the home page. Cool. Now, what does this look like to you? Well, to me, it looks more like a menu. So what I will do on the home page is put the menu at the top, like so. And run the example again. So there we go, we have a menu right at the top. Now what if I wanted to style my menu slightly differently? I can do this by going into my style file. So if I say A, and I will say all of my links are going to be capitalized. So if I say text transform, you can say uppercase. If I run this example, look at this. The text has now changed to capital letters. If I was to say text decoration, you remove the underline which is below the text, which is nice. So if I say also padding, which basically means the space around my link, I can say the padding for this should say be 8 pixels. And you can see now that my menu has become a bit more spaced. That's cool. But for now, I'm going to remove the uppercase. In fact, I will leave that there. What if I wanted to make my text for my links go bold? Well, I only want it to go bold when I hover over it. So how do I do that? Well, that's easy enough. So I do A, and you type hover, you can say the font weight should go to bold. So I run the example. There we go. See that? Cool. Now, what if I want to make sure that my hyperlinks, which is what they are called, are all black? Now remember, I don't think I will make mine black. I think I will make mine a different color. So if I say white, can you guess what will happen? Oh, they've disappeared. Well, easy. We can just change our background color to be black. There we go. Nice. So now we have a link. Cool. It looks pretty much like a button, but it's nice. So there we go. You can create links like this and style them just like this if you wanted to. But be careful to make sure that you don't put every hyperlink with the same styling. What I would do is I would give each of these links a class and call this menu. And by doing so, if you go back to the CSS file, you can now put the word menu with a dot, like so. Just after the A. Cool, nothing has changed, which means I haven't broken anything. Now, what if I was to go into this page here, the home page, and say I would like to go to google.co.uk. So you can also create a link to a website which is not on your website page. So if I run this example, can you see that the Google does not look like the same as this hyperlink or that one? This one is still the same old Google link or hyperlink. If I click on this, it will take me to Google. There we go. So you can create a link to another website page. So there we have it. That is your very small introduction of how you can create a very simplistic website. If you would like to also style the background of your HTML page, that is very easy to do. So what you can do is, for example, if you would like to make every single thing in your website a different color, so if I were to say the background color of this web page is going to be yellow, every single web page you create will have the background of yellow. Now, seeing as though we have created a menu at the top here, also it will be nice on the index HTML page to give it a new menu option. And on this one, you put the word index.html. You can type home. If I run this, you can go back to the home page from here. What you can do then is copy all of the links and paste them inside the other pages. Like so. And always remembering to auto format your files as you go along. Good practice. I will wait for this to save. Finish my save. You can now see I have got my hyperlinks. I click on About Us. I am still where I am. but my menu is where it is meant to be. Now, if your menu is not meant to be here, you can also make it go to the right side. So to do this, you can simply go into here and say float to the right. This might not work, but let's see. There we go. However, it reverses the links, so be careful by what you do there. So you can make things float, or you can make things move around. But to keep things simple, I will remove this. That should be a good enough starting point for yourself to make a web page. Now, before I finish, if you look on the editor here, there is a Open in New tab button. So if you click on this, you can open your website in a brand new screen. Now, do you remember where I was saying that you need to put a title for every page? The title is here. Can you see it? It says home. Now, home is this home. So if I was to put home, and I say create it, make it, once it saves, which shouldn't take too long, it's still saving, being a bit slow now. There we go. If I was to refresh this page, you can see my home has changed, the title has changed to create it, make it. If I click on the About Us page, you can see that the About Us page is now in the tab. If I click on the Contact page, you can see Contact has now changed. Cool. So there we have it. That is how you create a simple HTML page and connect it with other HTML pages. Now, once you have created an account, make sure that you provide the website link to your teacher so that your teacher can keep an eye on what you are creating and provide you some feedback. And cool. Hopefully you've enjoyed my introduction to creating a website. Best of luck in creating your ideas and have some fun. Take care. Bye.